Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Daily Iowan TV, your television news, sports, and weather source from the Daily Iowan. I'm John Doetkott here in the Daily Iowan newsroom to give you an update about what's been going on around Iowa City. Making purchases around campus could become easier if the UI decides to expand its U-Bill program. On Friday, the UI will hold a panel to discuss whether they want to switch to a debit system or continue with the current credit-based system. Now, if they continue the credit system, the U-Bill program will be expanded to include parking ramps, restaurants, and possibly Kinnick Stadium and its concession stands. If they go with a debit option, officials say they'll have to continue researching. But UI student government leaders said last spring that expanding the U-Bill program was one of their top priorities for this year. And a lawsuit against the UI hospitals and clinics will proceed despite UIHC officials' attempts to have the case thrown out. On Monday, a judge denied a motion by the UIHC to dismiss a lawsuit filed by former UI professor Malik Juwaid that claims he was discriminated against and wrongfully placed on paid leave. Juwaid claims his supervisor at the UIHC used racial slurs towards him and his Arab American colleagues. Juwaid was placed on paid leave per the recommendation of the threat assessment team after coworkers said they felt threatened by Juwaid's conversations and emails. And after another sexual assault on campus was reported last week, the UI now is up to a total of 9 sexual assaults since the fall of 2010. Campus security has long been an issue, and when UI President Sally Mason sat down with the Daily Iowan last week, she said the UI will continue to combat sexual assault with education efforts.
You know, we're constantly trying to provide education. We're constantly trying to provide information to people so they understand that if things like this happen, what to do, how to try to manage it.
Current UISG President Elliot Higgins, who campaigned on a platform of sexual abuse awareness and tighter campus security, said a lot of work needs to be done in the coming year.
First off, we created a new position on the executive board called the Safety Advocate. His sole job is to focus on campus safety. In October, we are putting on a safety fair, which will be October 26th.
Although 4 sexual assaults in the past year is high for the UI, compared to the University of Northern Iowa, the number is actually relatively low. UNI has had 9 sexual assaults since the fall of 2010 compared to the UI's 4. Some UI grad students will get some hands-on experience this year as they try to make the city of Dubuque more sustainable. Students in the UI School of Urban and Regional Planning will travel to Eastern Iowa City to work on 5 different projects designed to create a more sustainable community. The projects will aim at addressing the issues of poverty, food consumption, and how to create green and healthy homes. The projects will be funded by an $80,000 grant from the Office of the Provost and the Office of the Vice President for Research. And Iowa City residents may have to travel a little farther to vote in next year's elections. Tomorrow, the City Council is expected to approve an ordinance that would change the city's voting districts. The ordinance would eliminate 1 precinct and bring the remaining precincts as close to 3,500 people as possible. Now, councilors want to make the precincts more uniform following new data collected in the 2010 census. And now for all things Hawkeye sports, let's send it over to Daily Iowan TV sports director Jake Abrams at the sports desk. Jake?
All right, thanks, John. Well, baseball had Babe Ruth, basketball had Michael Jordan, wrestling, they had Iowa's Dan Gable. The Landlocked Film Festival continued Monday evening, which honored Gable with a special documentary on his life. Daily Iowan TV's Nick Robertson was at the event to bring us all the action.
Sunday night, Iowa City residents crowded into the Englert Theater to see a special showing of the Dan Gable HBO documentary, directed by Kevin Kelly. Dan Gable himself was in attendance and was able to give a speech before the show. During the speech, Gable reflected upon his life and career as a wrestler and a coach. He closed by reading a letter that his mother had sent to him while he was in college. After the conclusion of the film, audience members were welcome to ask questions to Dan Gable himself, as well as the film's producer, David Gould, about the making of the movie, as well as Dan's life in general. Many emotions were felt throughout the theater and amongst those who were in attendance, which included family and friends of Dan Gable, as well as current and former Hawkeye wrestlers.
Good summary of Iowa wrestling, like reflection on Gable's career, and just shows really how he evolved as a person throughout his career in wrestling and just through life in general.
A lot of emotions, motivating, probably sad, but mainly motivating.
But no one's emotions were as strong as those who had a direct hand in the making of the film.
I think there are a lot of emotions in that documentary and a lot of emotions in my life, and it keeps carrying me on. The secret to Dan is how much he cares. I've seen him shed more tears than I've seen him ever yell. He truly cares about every single person, sometimes more than they care about their own performance. And I think that's the magic.
Of all the emotions that were shared on Sunday night, none were as strong as the feeling of community. Nick Robertson, Daily Iowa TV, Sports.
This year's Fry Fest, which kicks off Friday, will be dedicated to Dan Gable. And the volleyball team finished a very busy weekend of the Hawkeye Challenge with a 1-2 record. Although they showed many signs of success, this young team still has a lot of improving to do. Daily Iowa TV's Nick Fetty has the story.
After starting the season with a 1-2 record, the Iowa volleyball team is looking to fix their mistakes as they prepare for the Iowa State Challenge in Ames this weekend.
We're going to try and work on minimizing our errors. We give the team a lot of points with service errors, hitting errors, things like that.
The Hawks fell short during games against St. Louis and Marquette in the Hawkeye Challenge last weekend. This rocky start can partially be attributed to the fact that the team is young, with 11 of the 17 players on the roster being either freshmen or sophomores.
We do have a very young team, and I think they all stepped it up when they got into playing. They all played their role very well and did what we needed them to do.
This Saturday will prove to be one of the team's biggest challenges yet as they take on the number 18 ranked Iowa State Cyclones. And the season will only continue to get tougher during conference play, with 6 Big Ten teams currently in the top 25.
I just think we got better. I think we got better with every match. And last night I thought that was, just as ugly as a volleyball match as one could possibly watch, but we won. So we'll certainly take that. And then this morning we saw glimpses of what we think this team can be. And then tonight I just thought we were more consistent at a higher level. I'm excited about it. I still think we have a chance to have a really good volleyball team.
The Hawks will continue to strive for consistency and will be important for the upperclassmen to help lead the team. Nick Fetty, Daily Iowa TV Sports.
All right, thanks, Nick. That's your sports update. John, back to you in the newsroom.
Thanks, Jake. And only with Daily Iowa TV can you get a sneak peek at Tuesday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about how the International Writing Program is attracting students from around the world, plus find out what's driving up moped rentals and get some tips on how to stay safe. And before we go, let's take a look at your local weather forecast. Tomorrow it should cool off a bit with a high of 75 and a low of 65. Could get a little sloppy too with a 40% chance of rain. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, temperatures will return to the low 90s on Thursday and Friday, and it's not looking great for tailgating this week with a 40% chance of rain on this first football Saturday. That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to tune in at the same time tomorrow or check us out anytime at dailyiowan.com. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm John Doetkott. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.